Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Halloween Kills. And this is one of my most anticipated films of the year. I was a huge fan of the 2018 Halloween film from Daniel McBride and David Gordon Green, and I was excited to see how they followed it up, because to be perfectly honest, the first film could have just been it. And they could have just let it be there, but I knew this was going to be a trilogy, and this film really suffers from middle movie-itis of like a trilogy, and especially bad because what really was accomplished in this movie, it didn't further really anything from the first film leading into this final film, Halloween Ends, that's going to be coming out, I guess, next year. It really just, kill more people. And that's it. And there's a lot of people. And I guess, from, an actual, horror thriller perspective, Michael Myers is intimidating. He's creepy. There's some solid direction here. There's a couple of moments where they really use reactionary shots with Michael Myers to deliver some foreboding feelings. And, there's some crazy kills in this film. There's a lot of kills in this film. And there's some exciting moments. Sometimes it's a little too overly edited. But in general, this is pretty thrilling and crazy, slasher film. So, if that's your thing, this really delivers on that. And a lot. But where this film struggles is narratively, it's all over the place. And, it's interesting that they add some layers to, how Michael Myers was caught at the end of the first film and some complications, and they have a couple of scenes that look really, really well done that are supposed to be back in the 70s. It really has that feel to it. They really captured the, filmmaking and also the feel for it. And, the music is killer, as always, because, it's John Carpenter and his now son, I think it's Cody Carpenter, just delivering on that. And you get that feeling, and okay, there's this really, really prolonged prologue, I guess, before we even jump into the film, because this film picks up literally right when the last film ended. And it's frustrating because some of the most important characters from the first film are completely sidelined in this. Will Patton's Hawkins, you find out more about him and his background and his role in the original, capturing of Michael Myers. And, you have Laurie, who's more of a presence in this film, and poor Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really get to do much except spout a bunch of, obnoxious dialogue. And that's the thing, the dialogue in this movie is terrible. Really terrible. There's, a couple of fun moments, but, a lot of this is, evil's out tonight. And evil's gonna die. And, stuff like that, and you're just, face-palming every 5 seconds from how terrible the dialogue is. Or it's so, somehow it's pretentious in a Halloween movie. What the hell are you doing? And the logic is just completely out the window, because it's is he a person? Is he supernatural? You're similar to this movie being in a weird middle ground between films. I feel we're in a weird middle ground for I feel Halloween Ends is going to give us more of a perspective, and they try to give motivations to what Michael Myers is trying to do here, but they feel so half-baked and silly and just no, I'm not buying it. And then you have a lot of this interesting idea and concept of the mob rule, and where you have Anthony Michael Hall's character and a bunch of the other characters who are originally from the first film who return here, where it's they wind up turning into a mob and wind up doing more harm than good in terms of trying to take down Michael Myers. And if it was more fleshed out, I think it would have been more interesting, but it was a compelling idea to include in this film. And then, the people are so dumb. And they do things to try to kill Michael Myers, and they're oh, no matter how much people have tried to kill him before, he never dies. But, you know, like the one stabbing that I did is going to be perfectly fine. He's done. And it's just like, come on. They prolong everything. They never check for him to be killed. They don't, like, at this point, you need to overdo it. And they never do. And it just winds up happening where it's just like, well, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, because you're all dumb. And that's really where you're left with this movie, where it's like, it's well directed for the most part. It's crazy slasher movie. It has that, if that's all you care about and you don't care how dumb the movie is, then good. But like, it's a really dumb movie with a lot of dumb characters with horrible dialogue and no narrative thrust or movement in the greater scheme of this story. It honestly just becomes more confusing and you're just like, what's going on here? And I'm, I guess, interested to see, because like the very end of this film leaves with some like really impactful like loss, and then you're just like, well, where is it going to go now? It has to end, right? It's called Halloween Ends. It has to be Laurie and Michael, right? So basically this whole movie, Laurie Strode doesn't do anything because she's like in a hospital the whole entire time, and you're just like, well, they just bought time for an hour and 45 minutes in a whole second film just to build up to something that's coming in the last one. So that was pretty frustrating. But in the end, Halloween Kills is crazy, hollow kind of slasher flick, and I wanted so much more. But those are my thoughts on Halloween Kills. Thank you, and let me know what you think. And let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.